Welcome everyone to the Queen of TV channel. Some quick things first before we get into our intro. Please watch the video to the very end and do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Second, there will be cursing and profanity. If that's not your cup of tea, this channel is not for you. Lastly, I will be giving my honest opinion about the episode and the show as a whole. So without further ado, let's get into our intro. Welcome everyone, I'm your host, the Queen herself, and you are the Prince and Princesses. You're either a subscriber or you are a viewer. Either way, welcome. Today we are talking about H2O Season 2, Episode 3, The One That Got Away. We start this episode with Zane's return and him and Rikki are reunited. Rikki tells Emma, who is apparently worried that Rikki still likes Zane and that Zane could get close to find out their secret because last time they used to be mermaids and he believes that they no longer are mermaids. Rikki assures her that she's not getting back with Zane and that she's not going to let him find out about the mermaid secret. They both end up at the JuiceNet Cafe where Lewis is showing them one of his inventions. It is a weather machine, basically. And Cleo ends up showing up, and the moment is very awkward. My guess is that this is the day after they broke up, or like a couple of days after. So it hasn't been like a full-fledged week, because that wouldn't make any sense for them not to be near each other for like a whole week. So it's probably by like 3 or 4 days. It's awkward, so Lewis ends up leaving. Cleo is upset about this because she thinks that Lewis is just treating them like they're just friends, but Rikki reminds her that they are just friends. They broke up. Emma says that it's justifiable because right now none of them need to be worrying about boys and don't need to be having boyfriends. They got better things to worry about. They got new powers. They have to still deal with the full moon. And they do not want a repeat on what happened last season. So, we see Lewis setting up his weather machine where Charlotte comes up and is having a conversation with him and wants to help him out as a friend. When in reality, this is just her wanting to bond more with him by showing shared interest in what he's doing, when in reality, that's not the case. She's just doing this to spend more time with him, which is, I guess, the fan base equivalent to saying that now that he's broken up, it's fine, because a lot of people have justified this as now that him and Cleo broke up, it's okay for her to spend time with him doing this. Okay. Well, Lewis is doing this because he thinks that Charlotte wants to help him as a friend. We see that Rikki has gone to the motocrossing pit where Zane and Nate would be. Her and Zane have an awkward conversation, and he is trying to see if she wants to get back together, but she refuses, and he gives her a drink, which she catches, but immediately drops it when she realizes that it's wet. That makes Zane a little bit suspicious, as he doesn't understand why she would do that. So, obviously, Rikki lied to Emma about staying away from Zane. Cleo is still at the JuiceNet Cafe reading a magazine when Charlotte and Lewis show up. Obviously, Cleo is like me. She's not fucking stupid. Charlotte is obviously flirting with Lewis. And Lewis does not see it that way. Yet. Cleo goes to complain to Emma, who thinks that Cleo is just being a jealous Nancy and not taking what she's talking about seriously. But she kind of is, because, of course, at this point in this season, they are paranoid. This is obviously the result and the consequence of what happened last season. Girls don't want anybody new getting close to them after everything that happened with Dr. Denham, Harrison Bennett, and Zane. So that's why Emma doesn't want Rikki around Zane, and why Emma would be fine with Cleo feeling this way so that Charlotte does not get close to Lewis, because they don't want to have the whole what's been going on suspicion thing that was going on last season. But she still thinks that Cleo is just being jealous. But Cleo obviously is correct in this sense. Charlotte has been flirting with Lewis since she's arrived. Lewis doesn't see it. Emma doesn't see it. Sadly, though, Cleo does. But Rikki is on Cleo's side. She will actually be the only one that is on Cleo's side for the most part. Because Rikki isn't stupid. Rikki can see flirting when she see flirting. I mean, obviously she would. She's seen that same behavior with Miriam when her and Zane were dating and that whole thing that was going on. Well, Cleo decides to go where Lewis is, where he's setting up his weather machine again on the pier, and she takes something he said out of context. He says to Charlotte that it's nice to know to be around somebody that actually understands this type of stuff. She takes that as Lewis saying that she never understood him and that Charlotte does. So she believes in her mind that Lewis actually likes Charlotte better than her. That upsets her and she leaves. Rikki is still at this motocrossing pit with Zane, who still tries to get Rikki to go out with him, but she refuses. So Zane decides to do something pretty fucked up. He decides to pretend like he had a motocrossing accident that could be life-threatening or he could have possibly broken his neck. Obviously, Rikki is terrified and she goes to Zane only to see that he's fine when he kisses her. She gets upset and walks away, and he tried to say that it was a joke. Not funny. She goes to Juicenet Cafe where Emma can tell that she's upset about something and does not know what. Well, she doesn't have to wait long to find out because Zane comes in and kind of let the cat out the bag. Once he leaves after telling Rikki to think about his offer, the offer being them get back together, Rikki lays down the law and says no, obviously. Zane still wants her to think about it. Emma is upset because Rikki said she would stay away from Zane. She said that she will and that she is. Rikki tells that to Emma. Well, Emma believes her again. And again, Rikki is lying. Cleo and Emma are at Cleo's house where Cleo is suspicious of Charlotte and wants to do information on her because she does not want Charlotte to get so close to Lewis, obviously due to her jealousy. Emma allows her to do this because she does not want Charlotte, and by extension, Zane, to get too close with their secret. Again, this is the result of what happened in season 1. So they go talk to Charlotte the next day. Emma being nice while Cleo is being kind of bit direct, but not obviously direct. But Charlotte obviously knows that by Cleo's body language that Cleo is having an issue with her. So they find out that her previous school would not have any records of her because there was a fire that happened that burnt down the office where all the student records were, which is wild to me. And somehow the school didn't burn down, but that one specific room did. I wonder if that was deliberate because maybe somebody was flunking or whatever. Phil does not believe this until she looks it up and apparently finds out that yes, Charlotte was telling the truth. The files were burned down, but there was something else she found out. She found out that the fire was started in the art room. So now she is not only accusing Charlotte of being flirty with Lewis, which she is correct about, and also she is now threatening the fact that Charlotte set the school office on fire, which she is incorrect about. She sees Lewis and they talk for a bit. It's an awkward conversation. She brings up the fact that Charlotte and Lewis are hanging out together. Lewis says that they are just friends, and if it's gonna be a problem, they could talk about it. She says no, go on and go ahead. Believing Lewis that they are friends. Obviously, she thinks she's stupid for this. Charlotte shows off a piece of art that I wish we could see Lewis' face on, whether or not if he cared about it, which Cleo thinks a piece of junk, but Emma says it's not because it's obviously pretty sure that Charlotte is into ceramics. I'm sorry, I agree with Cleo. That damn thing is ugly. It looks like a melted vase, basically. So I'm not into ceramics. So they leave, and Charlotte ends up going to the pier and sees that Charlotte and Lewis are talking about this old piece of junk that he just can't wait to get rid of because she's not as useful anymore, in lack of a better words. She thinks, like she did last time, that they're talking about her. No, they're not. They are talking about his last weather machine invention. Cleo obviously gets secondhand embarrassment, and that's not the last time. She's at the Juice Net Cafe while Emma is cleaning off the tables where she finds her diary, Charlotte's diary, and I will talk about that in the review. Cleo ends up opening and finding out that Charlotte has a picture of her kissing a guy and it says meet RJ. So she thinks that Charlotte also has a boyfriend and is two-timing this guy with Lewis. We see that Rikki went back to the motocrossing pit. Zane is not there. She finds him on the pier coming back with Nate from somewhere, and they are on Zane's Zodiac. They talk for a bit, and Nate interrupts their conversation by getting Rikki all wet. Zane realizes that Rikki is a mermaid after she asks him to help her. He distracts Nate, who doesn't see that Rikki jumped in the water. He finds Rikki at Mako Island. They have a heart-to-heart talk, and they get back together. Cleo wants to confront Charlotte about the diary. Emma does not think it's a good idea. That might not be correct about her having a boyfriend. She go confront Charlotte anyway in front of a bunch of people, which again, Cleo gets secondhand embarrassment when she finds out that the meet RJ actually means Romeo and Juliet, which does not make a lick of fucking sense. What also is crazy to me is that Charlotte even has the exact picture and the pamphlet that it was on in her bag still. And shows it to Cleo, which comes with the fact that no, she does not have a boyfriend. Obviously, Lewis feels bad for Cleo because he knows why Cleo did this. He ends up going to Cleo's house where she's eating ice cream and they have a talk. Cleo doesn't even deny the fact that she was jealous. And Lewis wonders if Cleo might have changed her mind and she wants to get back together with Lewis. She, in a way, gives him an excuse, but at the same time, she is telling the truth. The reason why that she would be doing this is not just because, yes, she wants to be with Lewis. She does miss him, but right now she is not in no state to be in a relationship with him. So she tells him that, which is true, by the way, that she did this because she does not want Charlotte to get close to their secret, which is true. That is the whole point. Charlotte does not need to get too close because she might want to know what's been going on if they have a big secret, which they are correct about because that is what ends up happening. Charlotte does become suspicious of all the time that Lewis is helping the girls. Matter of fact, that's what happened in the previous episode. She asked Lewis, he's always hanging out with them. Like she's already asking questions. So Lewis obviously is disappointed about this because he wants Cleo to just say she wants to get back together so they can just get back together, proving the fact that Lewis does not want to move on whatsoever. And he leaves. Obviously, Cleo wants to just tell him something else, but the door shuts. He's gone already. We see Rikki and Zane again, and it is very established that no, they are not going to talk about the mermaid secret, but also they're not going to tell Emma and Cleo either. And the episode ends with that. And wait 1 second before we get into our review. I had a video playing on my phone in the background. I'm gonna turn it over. So yeah, let's talk about this diary first. Now, the reason why I've never noticed this about the diary is because I've always skipped this part, and I really never actually paid attention. And I don't give a damn about the flack y'all probably gonna try to give me, but that's not a diary, okay? And I would know. I've had 2 or 3 diaries in my childhood, from middle school to high school. So I know what a diary is. This is not a diary. This is a fucking planner. You know how I found this out? One of the H2O YouTube channels I watched had a clip about this Pacific diary. And it says something about skydiving. And it says something about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So when I looked at the full episode and I paused it where Cleo had first looked into the diary, it is literally saying, hey, I got to do this day. This is going on this day. And this is happening on that day. So I'm like, this is a planner. This is not a diary. This is a scheduling book. So I'm sitting here wondering, the fan base this is the infamous episode, right? The controversial episode that says Cleo is a terrible person and we should just shit on her constantly and ignore Charlotte's behavior throughout entirely on season 2, especially the quote unquote storyline that Charlotte is involved in that a lot of people ignore, that she does towards Lewis, and shouldn't be the reason why people should no longer sympathize with her, but they still do. Over a diary that is, guess what? Not a diary. Because a diary, for the general public that doesn't know what a diary is a diary where you write about your personal thoughts and feelings, whether it's about family, friends, a crush you have, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or whatever else. It is not something that you write about what you plan on doing the next day or what you've got set up. You literally talk about what happened during your day and you put in there your deep, darkest secrets. The shit that Charlotte has in there is, one, not embarrassing to her whatsoever, which is why she was so unbothered by Cleo reading the damn thing and trying to expose it. 2, has nothing in there that implicates at all that she's talking about anyone or anything. And 3, is not the biggest of deals that everyone in the fandom is making about it. It doesn't matter. Matter of fact, it's not even important, because I've always was that person that was so flippant about the fact of why they had Cleo even do this, because it was out of character for her. Now that I've gotten a good damn look at the thing after not skipping it, I've discovered that this isn't even any fucking reason for Charlotte to be upset about. The only thing I can realize now is that Charlotte wasn't mad about the fact that Cleo read her diary, because it ain't a diary. It's a planning journal. She was mad that Cleo accused her of having a boyfriend in front of Lewis. The guy that she's trying to start a relationship with, even though he still wants to be with his ex. So now I don't have a reason to be mad at Cleo about reading her diary, which I have said many times, because I've reviewed this thing twice, that Cleo was wrong for reading Charlotte's diary. Now I take that back. Cleo is not wrong for reading the diary. Cleo is wrong of accusing Charlotte of setting a fire to her school, which did not happen, was not her fault. But I do believe her when she says it was deliberate. Someone else did it, obviously. There was no way that was an accident. Second of the very all, that Charlotte had a boyfriend. That's the only thing that Cleo is wrong in. Accusing Charlotte of having a boyfriend and starting a school fire. But as far as opening up this damn thing, I don't even know why that even is important. What Cleo did in season 1, episode 5, about writing about that mermaid secret, that's a diary, because That was a deep, dark secret. That was her secret life. That's something you would write in a diary. What this is in this episode, that's not a diary. That's a damn planning journal. Not the same thing. Sorry, but not sorry. Cleo gets a pass. Fandom, drop it. Just drop it. So now there have been moments where Cleo and them are wrong, Charlotte most part, and they have had moments where they tried to be nice to her, were nice to her, could be friendly and cordial with her. She found ways to fuck it up. Sorry, but not sorry. This is only the one time where only Cleo is wrong. Not because of the diary, but because she accused the girl of something she didn't do. Now, on the situation with her and Lewis's talk, Cleo was not completely given an excuse. It is true. It's true that yes, she won't get back with Lewis, but right now she doesn't feel that she should get back with him because her and Lewis are going through the 5 stages of grief. Now, I'm not going to do a video on that. You can Google the 5 stages of grief because Lewis and Cleo are going through it throughout the season before they get back together. But obviously, Cleo is going through a state of denial. So that's all that is. Denial and anger. Wait 1 second. My phone picked up my voice and tried to tell me something about the 5 stages of grief. She was telling the truth when she said that they didn't want Charlotte to get close to their secret. That is true. 2 things can be true at once. That was the truth. That wasn't an excuse. And they ended up being correct about the whole thing anyway. So the next thing, with Rikki and Zane keeping this secret about them dating. Like I said in the first episode, they will revert back to their old selves in season 1. Lewis has already started in the last episode with the codependency issue. Cleo has already started because now she has been revert back to her not liking being a mermaid anymore. Emma is starting to show her control freak behavior a little bit. And now Rikki is going back to her not taking something serious and being secretive issue with her keeping the secret of her and Zane dating again. Maybe Rikki doesn't want to deal with her and Zane have to go through Emma and Cleo being upset with her. She might have to go through that again. But like at the same time, you're not giving him the chance to prove to them that he can keep their secret and he's an ally. You are literally letting them believe that it's still a danger for Zane to know. You're not giving him a chance to redeem nor prove himself in their eyes. And it will show. Literally, it will show in the episodes. Before they actually start. Well, I don't think they ever did. I think after season 2, yeah, they're going to start. But like, in season 2, not so much. Because Ricky's not giving him the chance to prove himself. But that's really all that I got for you guys. Yeah, no. I'm over the diary thing. I'm no longer letting that excuse fly. Every time I see a comment about somebody mentioning that diary, I'm going to tell them that's not a diary, it's a plan journal. Every single time. There is no point in anybody being mad about that situation anymore. You could be mad that she was wrong for accusing Charlotte of setting fire to her school and literally, having a boyfriend, but no. And I will say this because Cleo does deserve her flowers for this one. After this secondhand embarrassment, Charlotte was never bothered by Cleo again, except it's Charlotte that starts bothering Cleo. But Cleo kept her distance from Charlotte. She didn't do anything else towards her at all. unless she was either had no reason or was completely provoked, which there were times where Cleo used her powers, but that was only because she was provoked or she had her reason to use them. And it had mostly had nothing to do with Charlotte. Well, actually, majority of the time, it had nothing to do with Charlotte. It was due to other things. And we will get to those when we get to those very episodes. But without further ado, that is all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the content. What do you guys think? Do you still think that Cleo should not have read the plan journal or diary, if you all want to still use that excuse? Do you think that the girls shouldn't have to be paranoid about Charlotte finding out their secret, or should they, if you have seen the whole season? And do you think that Rikki and Zane should have kept the secret of them dating from the girls and Lewis again? Me, no. Because that did not help anybody. But until then, I will see you guys in the next one, because you already know this ain't the last time we're going to see each other. And I love you guys. If someone has not told you that today, I am. Until then, goodbye, guys.